Hi, now we are going to see a very important concept in algorithms. So that is master theorem. Okay. So this master theorem we are going to mainly apply on divide and conquer strategy problems. So for the most of the divide and conquer strategy problems, this master theorem is directly giving the time complexity. Okay. Now we are going to discuss this master theorem very simple manner with simple examples, and we are trying to understand as much deep as possible. Okay. So every parameter meaning we are going to understand now. Okay. So now let us start master theorem. Okay. So here if you see this master theorem mainly working on, we discussed divide and conquer strategy problems. And divide and conquer strategy problems means that problem definitely be in a recursive code. That means we written a algorithm, that algorithm definitely a recursive code. So that recursive code we are writing in a recursive equation, mathematically we are writing. So here we have a code algorithm, that algorithm we converted into recursive equation, actually mathematical. So program to mathematical conversion is happened. So that means any recursive equation we are going to take as t here. So this is the function name t, time complex t, and what is the input size? So input size we are going to take as a n. That may be n elements or anything. So here n is representing that input size. Okay. So at that time what is the time complexity? Okay. So this is what the first of all we are going to find out the time complexity for given a recursive algorithm. So this recursive algorithm, if you try to draw the graphical representation, how it will be, let us see. Okay. So that may be, if you know already quicksort and merge sort, so try to think those algorithms in our discussion. Okay. Of course we will discuss in between also. So here if you take, so this is the problem, given problem, and this problem size is n. So that is what this problem size is n. So how this problem is going to be happen next? Okay. So this problem, for example, is divided into sub problems. Okay. So this problem is divided into sub problems. So assume n by b, next sub problem n by b. So like this you are going to have some set of sub problems, and every sub problem is independent to each other. That means to solve this sub problem, it is don't have any dependency on other sub problems. Okay. So each sub problem size is n by b. So given n is this one, that n is divided into n by b. So given size is n, then next further sub problem size is n by b. Now how many sub problems are there here? So how many sub problems are there? Assume that a sub problems are there. So assume that a sub problems are there. So here n by b plus n by b plus and so on n by b, that means a times if you add n by b, then you are going to getting back given n size. So that is what first of all meaning. So given main problem is divided into sub problems. Each sub problem is going to have a size n by b. And how many sub problems are there? A sub problems are there, assume actually. So here we are asking T of n meaning is what? Time complexity for this one, this problem. This is T of n. So whenever you have n size input, time complexity we represented as T of n, right? Now whenever you have n by b input, what is the time complexity? That is what size here n, that is what input. Size here n by b, that is what the input again. So what is the time complexity for this? So that is will become T of n by b. Function is same but input size is varying. That is what we have to understand, right? So here T of n by b, this is also T of n by b, T of n by b. Right? So here try to understand clearly, main problem given size is n, input size is n. that main problem divided into A subproblems, and each subproblem size is n by b. So this is what happened. Now what is the time complexity for given T of n? Okay, that means what? This subproblem how much time it is taking, plus this subproblem how much time it is taking, plus and so on, every subproblem how much time it is taking, that summation will become the total time complexity for this one, right? So how much time this whole thing is taken? So sum of all these subproblems, time complexities. Okay, so first subproblem T of n by b it is taking, second subproblem T of n by b it is taking, like this. Last subproblem is taking T of n by b. Okay, so how many times it is there? A times it is there, because A subproblems are there, right? So A subproblems are there means, so what will happen? A into T of n by b, that's it. Okay, so that is the first thing. So like this if you are dividing, okay, next what will happen? This is also going to have A subproblems actually. Okay, so that means this is n by b square, n by b square, n by b square. So like this every subproblem further is divided into A subproblems next. Okay, so like this everyone is going to have n by b square, n by b square. Okay, so like this it is going to have division till it have either one element or zero element, or where it is comfortable to solve. So up to there, so if you take at some level, assume this is the last level. So like this we are going to have subproblems. Okay, so here A subproblems are here actually. Okay, here A will be there definitely, here A subproblems, here A subproblems. So like that it is going. Okay, so now here one more thing is there for better understanding. So it became like this. Okay, now after this, is there any other work for doing this one? Okay, to get this tree, is there any other work actually? So that work also must be there in your total time complexity. This is not the total time complexity. Okay, initially given n, if you observe here, this n is divided into A subproblems. So divided means division, that is also some work, that is also will take some amount of time, right? Or sometimes subproblems solutions you have to combine also. So that combining also will take some amount of time. So here this is the time complexity for only this subproblem solving. But here you divided, that division will take some amount of time, and at the same time subproblem solutions sometimes you have to combine, that also will take some amount of time. So that also you have to include in your total time complexity. Okay, so that is what we have to observe here. So if you know already quicksort, for example if you take quicksort, okay, given n elements are there, n elements we have to sort. So we are going to select a pivot element. So pivot element, assume that it is placed at the middle. So that means before pivot element there will be some set of elements which are all of them less than 2 pivot, and after this another set of elements will be there, all of them greater than 2 pivot. So that means this main problem is divided into 2 subproblems. So this subproblem you have to solve individually, this subproblem you have to solve individually. Okay, assume this became approximately n by 2 and this is size is approximately n by 2. And how many subproblems? 2 subproblems, A is 2. But here, so this time complexity T of n by 2 and this time complexity T of n by 2. So that is why 2 times it is there, 2 into T of n by 2. But you divided here this one and you selected pivot element that you placed in its correct position in sorting order. So to place that one, to place pivot element in its correct position, how much time it is taking? That is that also you have to consider. So that is what dividing time complexity here. So this is in case of quicksort actually. So like this it is going to divide, pivot element is placing somewhere. So everywhere it is going to have same way. So like this it is continuing. If you take merge sort, what is happening? Same thing, n input size. So this n input size, simply we are dividing into two subparts. Each subpart size is n by 2. Okay. So like this if you continue, so this subproblem solution somewhere you are going to get n by 2 size. Okay. So whatever elements are here sorted and whatever elements are there here sorted. That means this is the solution for this subproblem and this is the solution for this subproblem. And what is the solution for this subproblem? If you combine these two, then that will become the solution for this subproblem. Is it or not? So that is what we are doing in merge sort, right? So this combining also will take some amount of time. So that is what combining here. So that means other than this one, you are going to have some other time complexity, that is dividing and combining. So for that, how much amount of time it is taking? So that we are going to take as f of n actually. Is it clear? So this is very important thing. Understanding master theorem general equation is very important. Of course, master theorem you can apply directly without knowing meaning also. If you know the meaning, definitely concept depth will become very clear. Okay. So that is what happening. In case of quicksort, division will take some amount of time. But here division will take constant amount of time. But here you no need to combine actually. In case of merge sort, you have to combine actually. So that will take some amount of time based on input size. So that because this is not constant amount of time, but here you are not combining, so that is taking constant amount of time. So that is what the main difference between these two. That means sometimes you have to divide, that will take some amount of time based on the given input size. Sometimes you have to combine, that also will take some amount of time based on the given input size. So that is why that division and sometimes both are required. So that is why other than this subproblems time complexity, we are going to have other time complexities also, that we are going to add here, because this is addition only. Why we are adding here, that is also reason is there, because this work and this work is purely independent. That is why you have to add them. Okay. So either before subproblem solving or after subproblem solving, you are going for this work. So that is why you can say this is the time complexity for recursive code and this is the time complexity for non-recursive code actually. Okay, so this is very important. So this is the first of all master theorem general equation. If you write more, so here this actual form of the master theorem is a into t of n by b plus, even this f of n definitely always positive. Okay, then a into t of n by b, this general form is theta of n power k log power pn. Okay, so this is the first of all master theorem general equation. And here if you observe, what is a, where a, at least one subproblem must be there, is it or not? So the zero subproblem means there is no recursive step first of all. A is saying that what? Number of subproblems. So zero subproblem means first of all you don't have recursive step. There is no recursive step means first of all this is not coming under divide and conquer strategy. So that is why a at least one, that means at least one subproblem must be there. If you take binary search, in case of binary search, we are going to have only one subproblem. Okay, that is why A at least 1 or greater than 1 sometimes. So here you see you are going to have two subproblems. Now what about B actually? So if B is 0, n by 0, that is infinity. Okay, so that is not valid, that is not meaningful. Okay, if B is 1, if B equal to 1, T of n by 1, that means T of n only. So input size is not varying actually. So that will lead to theoretically infinite call, right? Every time size is not changing. So here n, here also n, here also n, everywhere it is n. So where is the end for that recursive call? So that is why it should not be 1. But it may be at least 2 or greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so that is what B. And here K may be greater than or equal to 0, sometimes that is constant amount of time, and P is any real number. Okay. So this is the complete master theorem general equation actually. Okay.